Hi, welcome to Managing Conflict. But let me briefly introduce to you the 5 conflict modes. The first one is called competing. And on the axis of assertive and cooperative, competing is assertive and uncooperative. So it's a power-oriented mode of operating when a competing individual will pursue their own interests and concerns at other people's expenses, using whatever power seems appropriate to win the position. So competing might mean standing up for your rights or defending a position you believe is correct or just trying to win. So that's one. Another way to do conflict is called collaborating. Collaborating is one that we like to use a lot in business. It's both assertive and cooperative. The downside of collaborating is it does take a lot of time, which we don't all have. So when collaborating, an individual will attempt to work with the other person to find a solution that fully satisfies the concerns of both people. It involves digging into an issue to identify the underlying concerns of both people and finding an alternative that meets both sets of concerns. Collaborating can take the form of exploring a disagreement to learn from each other's insights about a situation or resolving some condition that would otherwise have them competing for resources. Collaborating behaviors include asking the other person questions to better understand the needs of the other person and working together to find a creative and win-win solution that satisfies both parties. So for those of you that have taken management classes, you know good inquiry is part of good collaboration. The next conflict mode that actually is very common in business, and when I do teach classes, this is the one that I get the highest number of people in, is compromise. Because compromise actually takes less time than collaborating, and people seem to be under a lot of time crunch. So compromise is in the middle of assertiveness and cooperation. So when compromising, the objective is to find an expedient, mutually acceptable solution that partially satisfies both people. Compromising is where everyone gives up something in order to reach an agreement. It's the middle ground between competing and accommodating. It's the splitting the difference approach. It's the I'll give you this if you give me that. In the end, neither party fully wins or fully loses. The next approach is called accommodating, and the accommodating approach on the axis is unassertive and cooperative, which is the opposite of competing. When accommodating, the person usually neglects their own concerns in order to satisfy the concerns of the other person. There can be an element of self-sacrifice in this mode. This can look like selfless generosity or just obeying an order when you prefer not to, or just yielding to another person's point of view. This can look like an I lose, you win style of conflict. But there are times that accommodating is the right way to go as well. And lastly, we have avoiding. And avoiding would be on the axis unassertive and also uncooperative. When avoiding, an individual does not pursue their own concerns or the concerns of the other person. They just don't address the conflict at all. The conflict is ignored or swept under the rug. Avoiding can take the form of sidestepping an issue or postponing or just withdrawing what appears to be a threatening situation. It can be seen as an I lose, you lose approach. But once again, there are times when avoiding might be the right conflict style to use.